What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're in my favorite spot in Arizona. For those of you that have watched this channel, you guys know that every time I come here I feel like I'm obligated to say it's my favorite spot. Sandstone formations everywhere. The patterns here are just absolutely insane. We got my buddy Mike and Paige who are here back for a third time on this channel. I think at this point we're gonna have to start paying them. But this video is all about what makes an impactful photograph, what holds the reader's attention, and that's really what it comes down to. Is when someone's scrolling through like Instagram or your portfolio, what holds their attention? What is it that makes them stop and pause and look at the photo longer? And that's really the key when talking about a photograph that's powerful or impactful. We're gonna go over some things like S-curves and just arranging elements with conditions to really hold the reader's eye or hold the viewer's eye. That's the goal of this trip here, is to find that photograph. Hopefully I do it. Either way, you guys are gonna see this video. So we're gonna start exploring here. I'm gonna look for some compositions and then I'm gonna walk you guys through myself and Chris both as it starts to rain here. Hopefully get some really good stuff. All right, well, this video is already not going to plan. It's raining. I didn't bring my rain jacket, so I think that's what I need to do if I want rain. Just not bring my rain jacket. I'm looking around right now, but honestly I probably need to get cover. But maybe, just maybe, we get some lightning today. That would be nice. So I've been to this place, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 times, 8 times, 10 times probably. I don't even know. I've never had like the greatest conditions, but we have rain right now. It's really dynamic. It's monsoon season. There's a good chance of a storm. So I really think that that would be so nice if I can get some lightning or some kind of storms here, or that nice beautiful storm light that you guys know I love so much. All right, so here's one of my potential compositions here. You can see we got a leading line. Looks like a dragon's tail. It's pretty cool. This is literally, this place we're at is the perfect spot for this type of video. The one thing that I think it's kind of missing is a real clear subject. You got a really strong S-curve in the leading line, but not a lot of subject. Like it kind of leads off into nothingness. Maybe if I walk down to this other side over here and see if I can see something. So we're on the other side now. There's an actual subject there. It actually looks super nice, so I think this might be the better composition because it leads to something. You see here, you got this leading line that leads you all the way to the subject here, which is these interesting mountains. This is a potential composition here, and it's I think it's pretty strong. I like the leading line and the S-curve from the other side, like over here, but I like the subject that's much stronger this way. See, Chris is a smart one over there, staying out of the rain. How's it going?
Seeking shelter from the rain.
I'm the dumb one walking around here in the rain, getting soaked. Yeah, we're gonna walk down a little ways and see if I can spot maybe a couple, because I want photos that face a couple different directions depending on what the clouds are doing. That's super important when, you know, the type of photography that I'm wanting to do here, the wide angle lens with the sky. So obviously facing the direction with the best clouds. So if I can get 2 or 3 possibilities, get some really strong composition, maybe the light works for me, because that's another element you really need to have that impactful image is light. Something to keep your viewer focused on your photo for a little bit, take that little journey through your image off to explore a little more. So while it was raining, my friend Mike and Paige, they were hiding in a cave we sat in earlier today when it was really sunny, getting out of the sun into the shade. Well, we came back out with our camera gear. When it started raining, they came up to that cave. There was a mountain lion in there. So I'm gonna have Paige, she got a video of it. It's really grainy, it's from a cell phone, but I'm gonna have her send it to me and I'm gonna show you guys right now. So yeah, it was like, well, we weren't the only ones trying to find shelter from the rain, but yeah. They thought it was a bobcat. Like, yeah, we saw a bobcat, and I saw the video and I'm like, that's a mountain lion. It's pretty awesome. I've never seen one out here, but I know they are out here quite a bit. So I've been walking around a little bit while my time lapse was running, and I found a couple of compositions that really bring together all the things I've been talking about. So I have some possibilities with some S-curves, some real nice texture in the foreground leading up to a subject, in a few different directions, you know, facing north, facing south, facing west, and I have even one facing east too, but I don't think that one's going to work out too well because we're shooting at sunset, and it's kind of down in a valley. It'd be really good for sunrise, but yeah, you never know. We're now waiting. We're about an hour and a half until sunset, so as long as it doesn't rain, we're going to stay out here, keep exploring, and if I find anything else, I'm going to talk to you guys about it, and I'm going to show you. Okay, so I found another one here. You can see I have a really strong leading line. I got these really nice patterns in the foreground here that lead up. The problem is there's no subject, or not really a strong subject, so from this angle it's not really that good. It doesn't really stick out that much. It's kind of a, you know, it's not really tall. It's a little flat, especially with the wide angle lens. If I use a wide angle lens with this, something wider than like, I don't know, 20 millimeters, it's not going to look that great. So it's going to be even worse. Right now I'm at about 24 for this video. I mean, you guys know the subject is the most important part of photo. And so with that being said, I think I'm going to move on. All right, so here's one facing off to the west that looks really, really nice. I have a strong leading line with some really nice texture. We got some nice clouds in the sky right now, so it's a shot that can be taken facing towards the sun, so we might get some backlight there. Maybe right before that sun breaks the horizon there would be a really strong shot, I think. We got this foreground here. We got a leading line. See that crack in it starts on the very bottom left that moves towards the subject. Then you have all of this texture in the foreground that really holds the eye, I think. So this one is really strong, and I don't want to include this mountain over here, so I really want to make sure that I'm maybe about right here, something like that, and then just making sure that I take everything into consideration. So I'll set up on a tripod and maybe move up a little bit, maybe down, you know, and I'll play around with it. And it's, you know, a couple inches up or a couple inches to the right and left can make all of the difference when trying to create depth. You know, if there's not a lot of things in the middle ground, you know, you got kind of some space in the middle ground, so the lower you get, it makes that middle ground disappear, which, you know, if it's the least interesting part of the frame, you want to get rid of it. You want to try and eliminate any distractions or anything that doesn't add to the photo. And I think getting down lower might make that even better, and getting rid of all that middle ground there. Yep, that's happening right now. Yep, that's happening. So I finally got my 14 to 24 millimeter on, and what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna put it at 24 millimeters. I think that looks best. When I zoom out to 14, it just makes that mountain look really small. So I think with this 24, I think it's the perfect focal length for this shot. It's wide enough to get this really interesting foreground with this leading line, and I took a lot of consideration when where to set up exactly. I mean, like I said before, a couple of inches can make a huge difference. I wanted that line to come from the bottom left and then circle around. I didn't want it to disappear off to the right side of my frame there, so I made sure that I kept that in there, and then had, you know, leading right towards my subject. I made sure that all of this really interesting pattern is included. When someone looks at this photo, they're gonna see this really strong S-curve. They're gonna have texture. They have an interesting subject, a really, really nice sky. This photo is gonna hold the viewer's attention. It's gonna make them stop and look at it, and it's gonna have, their eyes are gonna start in this foreground because it's so strong and so prominent that they're gonna look at it. They're gonna follow that all the way through, and really, to me, this is probably the best composition that I've found so far. The only thing I'm waiting for now is hopefully some good light, but even right now with the conditions, I could take a shot and I'd be really happy with it. What I'm gonna have to do is focus stack, of course, and since I'm shooting on a Nikon D850, I have a focus shift feature that I use quite a bit, especially when I have something really, really close in the foreground. I could probably get away with doing maybe 2 or 3 focus points, you know, one right close in the foreground, one in the midground, and then one in the background, and get away with it. But I just find that when I focus stack, the more images I have, the better. So I just put it on my focus shift, and it takes probably 5 or 6 photos on its own, and then I just stack them together in Photoshop, which you guys have seen. If you guys saw my 5-minute focus stack video, that's essentially my workflow for doing focus stacking. And so hopefully I get some good light here, and then maybe I'll move on to another composition. I still got a little bit of time before sunset. I'm gonna leave my tripod, my camera here, and then I'm gonna go look around for some more stuff.
I finally took my camera out and I'm taking a few photos. It took me a while today to find something that I like, and I think it's mostly because it was very rainy and overcast, so everything had that extremely gray touch to it. But here behind me, I found this little puddle that filled just now because of the rain. When we got here, there was no rain at all in the puddles, and now we just have a little bit of rain. So that makes for a beautiful little reflection. It's not like an epic, super big reflection where you can see the whole top here of that little mountain or brain rock behind me. So what intrigued me about this scene is all the shades of blue in the sky right now, and I think it makes for a beautiful photo. So I'm trying my best here to capture something that I like, and then we probably gotta run here soon. I can hear the thunder rumbling.
Have some really cool ridges in the sand here, and leading up, and you got some really cool rock formations over there. Problem I'm going to have with this is a wide angle lens. If I use anything more than, so if I turn this upside down or turn this portrait, it's really nice, but those rock formations kind of lose themselves really in the background there with this wide angle lens. Maybe just getting back a little bit, maybe I can do like a pano, like maybe a 4-shot pano. I think that would look pretty good. So that's at about 35 millimeters. I like those ridges in the sand, and those formations back there might catch light. It's nothing north right now, so that might get some nice side light there, these formations, and with this these ridges here in the foreground, so that might look really nice. Brave soul, my friend Paige up there doing the they have a series, her and Mike have a series called the Red Dress series on Instagram. So she puts herself in the landscape, looks really cool, and that's another thing you can do, make it really dynamic in the landscape, is put a human element in there to show scale. You should go check it out, really cool. So far I've knocked out 2 shots that I like. This one down here that I showed you guys, facing towards the west, I don't know if that's my favorite shot, but I really like that a lot. The second one I did was of those little sand ripples, about 35 millimeters. I had to focus stack that one as well, facing generally kind of the same direction. It's towards the storms, so I was able to get 2 shots out of that. Another one with a little bit of cactus in the foreground. So I'm really putting together some shots here because of this dramatic sky, because of this dramatic clouds, because I took the time to scout and to really take my time through each composition and make sure that all the elements were lined up. Everything was there that I wanted and nothing was there that I didn't. So I was able to eliminate a lot of things by being able to take my time. So yeah, hopefully the sun breaks through and we get a little bit of light, but if not, the dramatic clouds make a huge difference. And so yeah, I'm going to be greedy here and see if I can get a couple more shots. Found another one here, and this one we got some leading lines, and then we got this foreground element here that's really strong. So the difference between this one and the last couple is there was no real mid-ground on those other two, but this one you have some leading lines in the foreground, and then the mid-ground is really strong with this red sandstone. And then you have in the background there, you have a mountain that's a really good subject. It's not the strongest subject, it's not a real tall formation, but you have some really epic skies. So this one, you have a lot of pieces that are really good. That subject might use a little bit of work if it was a little bit better, but this one's a really strong one too, a little bit different than the other two. Now I'm shooting at 14 millimeters, so that foreground is really accentuated because of that 14 millimeters, that perspective. It's really distorted, making it look really big, which is what the intention is, you know. And then you got that mid-ground, that really strong mid-ground, all the way through to the background. You got some really good skies, so this is a really strong photo right here as well. Well, we got Chris over there. She's supposed to have her M50, so hopefully she's vlogging. I'm not really sure. I haven't seen her take it out at all, so I want her to be on this video. But I know she's running around already because of these conditions with these clouds. There's not a lot of actual light. The light's really flat right now. It's like a big softbox, but the conditions with the clouds are absolutely amazing. So she's kind of running around over there. Hopefully we can get a little bit of her. And maybe she's busting out that M50 to talk a little bit. But we will be here tomorrow. Not here, but we're going to continue this video tomorrow morning. So hopefully if she hasn't said enough already, we can get her involved in this video. Because I feel like the last couple of videos we've been kind of a chase with these storms and everything, that she hasn't really talked a whole lot. So I'm going to get her more involved here. Guys, with this one, I've actually shot this one before, but I wanted to come back under different conditions. And we have some really dramatic clouds in the sky with this rain. So I want to get another shot with this. Now this is that traditional S-curve that I've been talking to you guys about pretty much this entire video, and why that's so important. It acts one as a leading line, and then it also just brings you right into that subject. So you combine that nice S-curve with a leading line, and having a really strong subject with some really good conditions. Probably going to take 5 or 6 shots, maybe in different spots, a little bit lower. Just kind of play around with the composition a little bit. So far, from what I've seen on the back of the camera, I've been able to get at least 3, if not 4, really solid shots, all in one afternoon. These clouds are starting to break up a little bit, but I don't think we're going to get a sunset. I think sunset's going to be here in about 10 or 15 minutes off this way. But I don't see that happening. But these conditions with these dramatic clouds, I don't even care. You know, it's going to be this more cooler tones instead of those warm sunset tones. But I think that works really well with this really red sandstone and all these lines with those dramatic skies. I think it's going to look absolutely fantastic. We found some hoodoos. You guys that have watched this channel, you guys have seen this place a lot. I've been here, I think this is my 4th time here. But each time I want to come with a different composition. We got some beautiful hoodoos here with some nice striping on the sandstone. So what we're going to do is I'm going to set up on the tripod here. I've already scouted out my composition, so I'm going to walk you guys through it real quick. Alright, so you guys can see here in the foreground I have some really strong elements. I have some striping on this sandstone rock here to the right and to the left side, and using those stripes as leading lines going to that main hoodoo there. It's like a Thor's hammer hoodoo. Is pretty cool. I had a little bit of a hard time trying to get the right elevation, so I was moving up and down, and I wanted to provide a little bit of separation between these two foreground rocks and that hoodoo. So making sure that there's this white space below that main hoodoo, and that provides that little bit of separation there between the foreground and the background. Just gives it a little bit more depth. And then we got a really nice sky. Nothing epic. I don't think we're gonna get too much color. I think there's a lot of clouds to the east, so as far as color goes, it's not gonna be great, but the colors in the sky right now are really soft, like pastel colors. They're really fantastic. So I'm not using the focus stack feature on the D850. I'm just doing it manually. I'm doing 2 spots, so one right here in the foreground. I'm taking a shot there, and then I'm gonna focus on the hoodoo in the background, and those are the only 2 shots I'm going to take. I'm going to focus stack those in Photoshop. Put everything together. You have this really strong foreground element, leading lines to the main subject, which is that hoodoo. You have really nice color in the sky. You have a strong subject, and then you have this foreground element also, because I've got to the elevation where there's a little bit of separation, but it also frames that hoodoo. So you have a nice frame around the subject, and so everything works really nice. There's not a real strong or really a lot of mid-ground. It's like foreground and background, but I think this image works really well.
I don't know about you, Mike, but Joplin and I, we're going to have second breakfast now. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.
Take the dress, kick it out this way to the right, and be looking off to the right.